Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. It's it's been a very long time. Some stuff has been going on. I'm gonna chat as we do this video and catch you all up. But first of all, I just want to say hi, and I'm really glad to be back and seeing everybody's face as well. I suppose I'm not seeing everybody's faces, and you're not even seeing my face, but the proverbial is there. So let's get into it. What I have got for you today is I have got some changes to my life coming up in the very near future that required me to do some rethink the way that I'm organizing myself. So I decided I would like to go back to a Hobonichi, and I purchased an Avec just for the second half of the year, and I got this one secondhand. It is A5 and it came with these tabs already in it. And the lovely lady, Kate, that I bought it off, had attempted to join the two halves of her Avec together and found that it didn't work for her. So she has actually sliced off the cover. So this Hobonichi is missing, it's got the back cover, it's missing the front. So what I am going to do today is actually put a new cover on it, which I would have done anyway. I would have probably covered it up to make it a little more me. But obviously it's a little bit flimsy. You can see that I've already done a little bit of a half-hearted decoration in there, testing out some old pens. So what I've got is a piece of cardboard. Now, this is actually from a Hobonichi notebook from a couple of years ago, which I took the innards out of the notebook and I just had this piece of cardboard, and I decided to use it because it is actually the same sort of thickness by the time I join these two together as what's on there, but it's already cut to the right size. I didn't have to adjust it. And then I've just got some scrapbooking paper to put on it, and this sticker to go on the top, which I'll talk about a little bit more about in a minute. I've got some washi, some ribbon to make a bookmark, and I would like it all, when is said and done, to be going into here. This is, let's be a bit more organized. Hey, let's move these out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing a bit better. This is I suppose you would call it a journal cover. I don't think I'd call it a traveler's notebook. That my mum bought me for my birthday last year, and I haven't actually had a chance to use it yet because my current journal is still in its cover. But it's really cool. It's got this pencil case here, which I've just got some real basic sort of stuff in. A little pair of scissors, fine liner, a pencil, some Staedtler Triplus, and oh, I wondered where that went. It's got a Tombow brush marker in it that's not meant to be there. And I've got a brush pen, so that this may change by the time I get it all set up. That was just already there. But they'll come in handy for my Hobonichi anyway. And then on this side, I've got a little pocket, which I had already pre-set up with some blank dot grid paper in there. And then when you open it all the way, do I get the whole thing in? Oh, I do. When you open it all the way, I've got a pen loop, which I probably will use. Then there is a pocket here and there is a pocket here. Now, the original notebook that came with this did have both the covers in, but I'm planning for the Hobonichi to only use the one, which will leave me this pocket available to put stuff. Because we all love stuff, right? So I'll just show you, just so that you've got an idea. This is the Hobonichi here. Back cover is just going to slot in there once it's covered up. Now you can see it's a fair bit smaller. I think the original book that went in here was like a B5. If you look where it folds, but for now I'm okay with that. When it all shuts, it should all be fine. I want this to go in my handbag. You can kind of see I've got like gappies in there. If I decide that I hate it, I can change it at a later date. I've got a bunch of traveler's notebooks and all sorts of bits and pieces, some of which you have seen already on this channel. But yeah, I really wanted to try this cover out, and I think the Hobo will go really well in it. So that's what we're going to do. And while I am covering, we're just going to chat about what's been going on in the last couple of months and what I've got coming up and that sort of stuff. So I've got, oh, Post-it notes. You can tell I haven't looked at this in a while. That's a, what's a page marker? A washi card. Cool. Stuff. I told you I liked stuff. We all love stuff. Okay, they can stay there for now. I don't know whether I'll keep them, but anyway, so that's the plan. So let's do that. So this is the scrapbooking paper that I've chosen to go on the actual cover. It's big enough that I can get front and back. I'm going to use some washi out of here for the spine. I'd like to put a ribbon bookmark because the Hobonichis don't come with those. And then I've got this, this is a Tim Holtz paper, which I'm going to use as a bit of a book plate behind the sticker, because I felt like, so much shuffling, I felt like this straight on was too much green. So we're just going to have a little something to spread them off, which I thought was nice. So first thing we need to do is stick the ribbon bookmark on and stick the card on and all that sort of bits and pieces and get the actual basic form right. Now, by pure fluke, these tabs that came with it that the lovely Kate had already attached are already the right colour. So I'm all about teal, so that just worked easy for me. So let's just glue this. So yeah, let's talk about, I'm going to put this so that you can kind of still see it in frame if you want while I'm chatter-rattering. Let's talk about the sticker. So the first thing and most important thing about the sticker, probably for me to tell you, is that I drew it. So yes, it is my own artwork. I really need to refill this glue. Wow. It's been a while since I've done a chatty video, so please excuse my extreme scatteredness. So yeah, I drew the illustration there. And they are the three main characters out of the novel that I have written, which is called Sorcery and Stardust. And it is due to be released on the 22nd of June, which, as of the date of me recording this, is about 2 weeks away. And I am hoping that when I upload it, it will be a similar time frame. Now, anybody who's interested in checking the book out by the time that I'm finished recording this and sort of chatting and keeping up to date, is I will have the links in the description box below to my website, which, when the release finally happens on the 22nd of June, all of the information about buying the novel will be on the website. So the okay, sorry, I'm not used to crafting and chatting at the same time. I mean, I am, but usually it's, anyway, bear with me everybody for this very awkward video. So I just want that I'm just gluing that directly to the end paper because it's just going to make my life the easiest, and I'm not really fussed about losing out on the end paper. So this is Fenris, this is Arcana, and this is Caleb. She's a sorceress, he's a warrior, he is a space deer. So Sorcery and Stardust is, I find it very difficult. It's speculative fiction, which is a very broad genre term. It is a sci-fi cross fantasy with a little bit of a romantic vibe, although when I say a little bit of a romantic vibe, I suppose technically romance as a genre is very tricky to define. Anything with a solid love story in it classifies as a romance. So this is actually a romance novel, in the same way that Star Wars is a romance movie and Guardians of the Galaxy is a romance movie, and all of the Marvel Avengers are all romance movies. These days that is that. And I know that there are people out there who give a lot of romance a bit of a bad rap. I'm not one of those people. I quite enjoy a good romance in my reading myself. So I think that's stuck down pretty well. I wasn't sure because there was threads and stuff kind of from the original binding, but I think that that's gone on all right. Now the next thing I want to do is add the ribbon to the binding. So that's going to be interesting. So let's see. Yeah, so the book is a lot of fun, if I do say so myself. It's pretty lighthearted. It's if you like a laugh and you like adventure and you like, you know, deer. Calum says that you should read it. And I think that you should too. So yeah, I'm selling it well, aren't I? I am new to all this. So I am going to be making videos again. I took a break because I had some personal stuff going on. Mum had some personal stuff going on. We did end up finishing those journals that we had been making and filming together, and I have videoed the finishing of that, and that series will still be coming up in the future. I haven't forgotten that. So you guys will get to see those. But I'm also going to be working in my journal and doing journal with me's and in my Hobonichi and stuff like that. As per usual, all of that crafty stuff will still stay, but a fair bit of it will be relative to Sorcery Insider. So in the book, Akana has a journal of her own. She keeps a journal, and I am planning to do a lot of art and journaling as though I was Akana and we were working in her journal. So that is something that's going to be happening in one of the journals that you've already seen, one of the ones that I made a while ago. So yeah, you can stay tuned and look forward to that. And I'm pretty excited to share that with you. I think that will be a lot of fun. So the ribbon bookmark is on now, and I'm just going to leave that to dry for a second, and then we will get on to the next bit. Okay, so the next bit I think is going to be putting the tape on the spine. I'm doing this as I'm thinking out loud as I'm doing this, so you're gonna have to bear with me. Well, I clearly have never opened this jar of washi before because it's taped up something good. So yeah, you're gonna have to pardon me because I don't do many of these chatty videos, and I would like to get into the swing of it, so I'm just gonna have to put up with my random. I've already said that. I'm not apologizing anymore. So I am an author. That's actually what I do. And I've been doing YouTubey stuff just for my own enjoyment, which I will continue to do for my own enjoyment. But my main profession, I suppose, is an author. So I cut these down. I had a quick stop for lunch. The oven timer went off. So while I was scoffing, which I figured you didn't really need to see, I trimmed this all up. Sorry, I'm totally eating chocolate. I just told you I wouldn't eat on camera, and I'm doing it. I've been writing for a long time, forever. And I've done a bit of freelancing, and I've written novels in the past, but this is the first one that I've actually gotten up the courage to publish. I really like this floral. No, I think that's too pale. Well, that's rejected. This is pretty and might be good for some other point during the project. Too pink. Trying to put them back in the tube, and it's just not working for me. You know, the birds is what I originally thought I would end up using. But I think I like the floral better. No, I'm putting the birdies aside. The arrows, I don't really want one with a white background because there's a good chance whatever's behind it will show through, being that that's the nature of washi. And then the skinny ones are a little on the skinny side for what we're looking for, which just leaves this one in. No, not really. All right, so we're doing the floral. I got majorly distracted and I don't even know what I was saying before that now. Talking about being an author. That's what I am. That's what I do. I love to write stories, which is good because, as you can clearly tell, I'm not great at speaking out loud, clearly. I'm getting all my tongue tied and everything. What's the width of this going to be like? I've got a good bit of overlap. All right. I want to put a bit of glue to hold it down as I'm going. So I started Sorcery and Stardust about 3 years ago when Orion, my eldest child, he was in prep at the time, and I was sitting at a cafe with a friend of mine, Glenn, who works in film, which is like different but the same in a way. Like that, a lot of the methods are different, but the creative drive that we have for our work is the same, if that makes any sense. So he and I get along very well. We have a lot in common. And this is going to be all interesting. How am I going to hold this up while I suppose I'm just going to have to make it happen. We were chatting over coffee one day and discussing, you know, popular culture and film and novel and what makes a good popular culture book or movie good, and I suppose what makes a bad one bad. And we started tossing around ideas for something a bit new, something a bit different, and we were just joking, really. This is just not wanting to go where I want it to go. It was not a serious conversation by any stretch of the imagination, and to be perfectly honest with you, I had put my writing career on hold while I had the kids. So when you've got tiny kids, it's very difficult. Any mother will know. It's very difficult to find time for yourself to have a coffee or go to the loo, let alone, I just can't get this centered, let alone to actually do something professional like writing or film or anything like that. So I wasn't writing. Glenn had been trying to convince me for some time that I should be, but I wasn't, for better or worse. Anyway, we were just tossing around ideas of some fun sort of things, and I said to him, and this is one of my big beefs as an author, is that there are a lot of people who judge genres without actually, I don't know, what do you want to say, knowing anything about them. That's not the right terminology, but, you know, I grew up a lot with, oh, fantasy, you write fantasy, oh, you know, oh, romance, you read romance, ooh la la. And it's just kind of like, yeah, I do. I don't see why it's an issue. Nowadays, our popular culture has changed. Being a nerd or a geek or whatever is a lot more acceptable with shows like Big Bang Theory and all that gaining popularity, and with movies coming out like the Avengers and things like that, and even the Star Trek movies, and obviously Star Wars making its sort of comebacks. Our popular culture is changing it, and those sorts of things are a lot more accepted, whereas when I was young, that was the sort of stuff that you got teased for. That was the sort of thing that the mean kids in the playground were mean about. So I've always had it as a goal, as one of my goals as a writer, is to change that perception. One thing I really want to do is make a point that any story, regardless of genre, can be good. A good story is a good story, and it doesn't matter whether that's a thriller or a romance or a sci-fi or dragons or unicorns, or, you know, it's a good story is a good story. So that's kind of my jam. So Glenn and I were having that exact chat over coffee, and we started tossing around some ideas, like title ideas, I suppose, but tongue-in-cheek title ideas for genre mashups. So like, what if I took some really corny fantasy and sci-fi elements and I threw them together and I made them into something fabulous? And one of the titles that we joked about, that I jokingly tossed out, was Sorcery and Stardust. And at the time we just had a bit of a laugh. I actually really like that. That's pretty. I tossed out Sorcery and Stardust, and at the time didn't think anything really of it. I'll probably trim that at the end, I think, because, you know, whatever. But by the time I got home, it was all I could think about. I couldn't stop thinking about this idea, this title, and before I know it, I was texting Glenn saying, oh my gosh, I think I want to write this, you know. And then before I knew it, I had a sorceress, which is a very traditional fantasy option, fantasy item. I had a warrior. He's actually a knight. He's not wearing his armor in this picture, which is another cliche fantasy idea. And I had a deer who is he's a magical space deer who flies their spaceship, which is both a fantasy and a sci-fi and a just, I don't know, the product of my imagination. And I threw them all together and I gave them, you know, qualities. So Fenris has sort of vampire qualities. He's strong and fast, and so there's some paranormal aspects in there, and they fly around in a spaceship and they go from planet to planet. So there's some sci-fi in there, and it's kind of funny. I mean, I think it's funny. I hope everybody else does. It'd be kind of ironic if I thought it was funny and nobody else did, wouldn't it? And yeah, and I started, and I had I said to Glenn to this day, I had no intention of the book ever getting to that point. I started it as just fun because I couldn't get these characters and these ideas out of my head. And really that's how it starts, isn't it? That's where they come from, the ideas. It's when they come to get you and you can't get away. And you know you have to write them. So I'm going to need to trim this down, obviously, to interrupt myself. But it's a matter of how much I want to trim it down, because it will need to fold over to it's kind of, which I really like this bit at the bottom. So I think I want more of a more of the top visible. All right, so I'm going to glue up the cover and I'm just going to stick that on as best I can. I don't know what I was saying now. Anyway, Sorcery and Stardust, I started just writing it for fun. Took me several years because I was just writing it for fun. I wasn't in a position mentally, physically, family life-wise, any of those things to actually pick up my career again. Although, to be honest with you, I kind of wish I had pushed myself more. I really think I could have done it. I didn't believe so at the time, but now looking back, I really think I could have. And it hasn't only been in the last 6 to 8, or maybe even 12 months that I have thrown everything I've had into this book. And honestly, it wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be in terms of juggling my life, the universe, everything. But, you know, what they say, hindsight is 20/20 and all that. So I just started off writing it for fun, like as a hobby, with the intent of maybe one day it would eventuate, you know, it would be the book that I used to restart my writing career. And then over time it just evolved and it became this all-consuming need. One of my very close friends, who's a freelancer, journalist, novelist, all-around fabulous lady, said to me that you have to be prepared to be obsessed with it. And at the time she gave me that advice a few years ago now, I didn't understand. I was just kind of like, well, obviously, if you want to get somewhere, you got to do the thing, right? We all know that. You got to do the thing. But, you know, you reach a point where if it's really your passion and it's really what you're meant to be doing, it consumes you. You go to bed at night and you dream about it. You spend every waking moment thinking about it. You know, your kids are telling you what they want in your lunchbox and you have to ask them to repeat themselves because you can hear the characters calling and the story unfolding. And the thing I love about writing, and the benefit that I've always had with it, is that the words, they kind of burn. Like if I don't write them down, I don't get any peace. I have to write the stories. I've always been writing the stories. So that's how I always have known that writing is where I'm meant to be, because it's just a case of just that. I don't think there's an up and down, but I'm going to do them both the same way up anyway. It's a case of just that feeling of having no other choice, I suppose. And not like somebody was there, you know, standing over me going, write this book or else, but I have no other choice in that I just had to. I was just consumed with this need. And the more I wrote of the story, the more the characters came to life, the more I realized that this wasn't going to be just a leisurely, you know, hobby write, and maybe one day I would get back into it. It was now that it was happening, and it needed to, I'm going to move this bookmark so it's a little bit out of the way. It needed to be done, and I threw everything into it, and now it's ready to go, which is great. Like, I'm very impressed with myself. I'm impressed with myself. I'm going to trim this down a little bit because I don't think these need to be so long. For getting this far so soon, and when I say so soon, like, yes, it's been a few years, but I have only really started working full-time on the book, like I said, in the last 8 to 12 months. And when I say full-time, I have 2 small children, both of whom are at primary school, and my husband, bless him from here until eternity, works to put food on the table and a roof over our heads and clothes on our backs. And that enables me to be at home with the kids and raise them and look after them. And any single income parent or family will know what I mean here when I say that dropping from 2 incomes to 1 is a challenge in of itself. Like, it's not an easy thing to do by any stretch of the imagination. It's hard, it's stressful, it's at times just gut-wrenchingly difficult. I need to trim these corners off, really. And it's not something that Marcia and I decided to do lightly, but it works for us. But I would dearly like to be able to, you know, get back into my career. Like, I've had 10 years off. Do you know what I mean? Like, 10 years of being mum and not being me is a long time, which I don't begrudge. But it's been a really interesting journey, and now that the book is ready, it's not stopping there. I've already got, as far as Sorcery and Stardust is concerned, I've already started book 2 in the series, and I've also completed book 1 in another series, which I'll be launching hopefully later this year. That's the plan anyway, to get it out later this year. And I just want to write, and I just want people to read my stories. Like, it's not a really difficult decision in that respect. It's just, this is who I am and this is who I want to be. And so I took a back seat with my videos, which if you are a follower of this channel, you would have noticed, because I realized that I needed to focus all of my time, all of my available time on the book. It was not going to get written unless I wrote it, as strange as that sounds. Funny that it's not going to get written unless you write it. But I had to make that commitment. Go, okay, I love my YouTube channel, and I want to keep going with it, and I want to get back to it. But if I want to get my books in the hands of people, I actually have to finish it. So that's what I did, and I figured that once it's ready to be released, I'll be able to pick all this stuff back up again and find a way to make it work all together, to juggle everything. That's the plan. And to make my craft related to my writing, so that everything feels, to me anyway, like it's a cohesive, because if you don't, where's my bone folder? I know I have one here somewhere. I really need, excuse me, leaning across in front of you while I'm looking for my stuff. I know I've got it. This will do. This is not a bone folder, but it will do. So that's kind of the plan, is to write books and for people to read them and hopefully enjoy them. That'd be great. And to craft on YouTube and chat to you, if anybody's interested at this point by what's going on. I watch a lot of Nick the Booksmith, and I love her chatty videos. I love feeling like I'm a little bit part of her world. Nick, if you ever watch this, hi. She's a massive inspiration to me creatively. I love the books that she makes because that is a hobby of mine. Making books, I've always done that since I was a child. Turned everything into a book, which is not that surprising probably, considering I write them and I read them. Ugh, stay. I need something to hold it down. This is a washi tube so that I don't stick to it. That's what. The glue is great, but it's also gooey on my hands. It's impossible to get off. It's kind of lifting too. This scrapbooking paper is quite stiff, so it's not doesn't want to play ball with me. So yeah, I'll try and keep these videos as short as possible so that they don't, you know, go on forever. But I do plan to do more of these kind of chatty ones. But I bought the Hobonichi the very long way around to the video reason that we're here. This is my Hobonichi. I bought this because I realized that as an author and as a mother, and also I'm designing, I have an illustration stationery sticker design business with my beautiful sister from another mister called Bubble and Blossom Papergraph Boutique, which you will hear about more. You'll be hearing about that more. A lot of Sorcery and Stardust a lot of Sorcery and Stardust stuff will be going through Bubble and Blossom, and we've got our own stuff too. And all of my artwork and illustration that gets turned into stickers and prints and stuff will be going through there. So I realized that my just simple A5 Kiki K just diary, which, don't get me wrong, I love it, but it was just for the family. Like, it's just a week to a page layout which just says things like school, swimming, karate, basketball, you know, that sort of family stuff. I realized I wasn't going to cut it as far as organizing my life goes, because now I've got stuff. I need more stuff to hold this down. Now I have these three distinct areas where I need to organize myself. I have to have things that I'm writing down daily for my writing, because I've got books on sale, books that I'm writing, books that I'm editing, projects that I'm doing, you know, blog posts and freelance work and stuff like that. And then I've also got the stuff I'm doing with Bron and Bubble and Blossom. So, you know, I'm drawing and I'm making stickers, and we got plans for a whole other bunch of fun stuff. But then I've also got the family stuff. I still need to have somewhere to put down, you know, take the kids to swimming lessons, and don't forget that today is crazy hair day, and, you know, all of that sort of. I wonder whether I can just shut this without gluing it. Oh dear, this could go terribly wrong. Let's get just these little plastic bags. Oh, which are for the shop, but they're plastic, so they should peel off. And I'm just gonna go like this. We're gonna work on the other side while that's weighting itself down. Yeah, so I realized that I needed somewhere else to write in, and the Hobonichi, it's upside down, but it's upside down, gives me the schedule and then a whole bunch of room. And when I had the Hobonichi a couple of years ago, I really enjoyed it. I loved the format. I love the paper. I love that it's thin and light. And I had the year rather than the Avec, which is only 6 months. So I knew that for me, if I was happy toting around the year, that the 6 monthly version would probably be fine for me. And to be honest with you, I didn't really want to buy a whole year's worth of book when I only needed it for 6 months. Although, to be honest with you, I could have done with it a month ago. That would have been nice. Whereas now I've kind of been having to get along with my bullet journal, which is fine. My bullet journal is fine, everybody. I love my bullet journal. You all know that. But I don't have the time at the moment to sit down and art out every day's layout. So I need something that's sort of structured, that if I've got time to art, I can art. And if I don't have time, then I don't. Which is why I've gone back to this this format, which I am hoping will be the best of both worlds, 3 worlds, all the worlds. Now, if you're wondering, this weird little tool that I am using, I don't know if you are wondering, but if you are wondering, it's actually a scraper to get stickers off the cutting machine mat that Bronwyn bought me last week. It's actually supposed to be for my birthday, which is in August. For some reason, she decided to give it to me early because she's impatient and can't help herself. Which it's come in handy. It's not a bone folder. I really wish I knew where I put my bone folder. I thought it was here on the desk, but I can't see it. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's glue these down. Let's glue these down. And then we can put the end papers on. This video has already taken slightly longer than I thought. Just because, well, not because of my rambling. I'm only sticking a cover on. Just goes to show, I guess, you never realize. Because normally I do my videos, as you guys probably know, and speed them up so that you don't see them in real time. But I really wanted to chat to you today and tell you what was going on. I could have done it as a voiceover, I guess. Glue. Hold. Lid on. Maybe. Washy thingy. Hold. Hold. No, I really need something solid and long. Have I got, oh, I know. What about like a notepad or something? I'll work with it. Have I got a notepad? Have I got a notepad? That is like asking me if there's stars in space. Have you got a notepad? I have a lot of notepads. I have too many notepads. And then I will then follow that up by saying that there's no such thing as too many notepads. It's not possible. Yes, I know it's a giant cup of tea. And it's one of those days, it's getting into winter here. It's very cold and I need to stay warm. I am not a warm-blooded person. Or maybe I am a warm-blooded person. Or no, I don't know. I feel the cold, everybody. I feel the cold quite heavily. And need constant warming up. In the evening, you will find me almost permanently in my dressing gown because I need to keep warm. Uh-oh, don't want to glue my thingy. I'm still getting a lot of glue coming out from under this. I thought ugh. Lucky we're sticking end papers on, hey? Otherwise it would be a very gluey back cover. Now, question is, can I move this? Has that stuck yet? It's kind of stuck. I'm impatient. I don't like to wait. Oh God, I'm just covered in, it's not normally this bad. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of messy. It's not normally this bad. Ew. Get off, weird glue boogers. Gross. Okay. Let's get this next bit done. And we can move on. End papers, front bit. I think that's pretty much done. I need to make sure it's done before I go to pick the kids up from school, because otherwise it's going to be all over the desk when they get home. Sticky, sticky. Now, has this one stuck enough for me? No, it has not. I love that. Alright, what other heavy things have I got? Well, I've got these. That can just, ew. That can just go on there like that. And we'll even bring the book up a little bit to make it easier. While we faff around with something else for a minute. Okay, so what next? Let's just take this. This is going to be the book plate, and I want to round the corners and distress the edges. So let's do that while we are waiting. This is the wrong corner rounder. This is the corner rounder that is broken. But I'm using it now, so. I have several corner rounders, and I really should get rid of the one that... This one's not bad. It's the Fiskars one, and it's okay as long as you're just doing paper. And when I say that, I mean scrapbook paper. If the paper's too thin, it just kind of tears or indents it, and then you have to cut it by hand anyway. And if you're doing photographs, particularly glossy ones, because they have that kind of laminate overlay on them, it just shreds them. Honestly, it's pretty terrible for that. But for just scrapbooking paper, it's not so bad. So now I am just going to distress these edges. I like inking up my edges. This is a... is it Tim Holtz distress ink? I don't know. Yeah, it is. In walnut stain. I do not have a preference, really. I like a vintagey brown. I know that there are people out there who only use certain particular shades, but when I'm shopping, I will get some form of dark brown that's on special at the time, or what's in stock, or, you know, whatever. I just like that slightly grungy, aged look when I'm doing stuff like, I'm going to say stuff like this, but actually when I'm doing anything, Mum's constantly laughing at me because I distress. If it can be distressed, it should be distressed, is kind of how I roll. Now let's see, how's this front cover going? Yeah, see, this scrapbook paper does not want to, just doesn't want to stick down, does it? I might have to end up putting a bit of sticky tape over that, because it's going to get covered anyway, to make sure that it stays down. I don't know why it doesn't want to play ball with me, but what's this side like? Yeah, look, that's all completely lifting. Completely lifting. Alright, let's shove the book on it. Alright, so that's what it looks like for now. Let's move these out the way. I want to make sure it's stuck down properly before I... I'm trying to put stuff back in my drawer and it's just not happening for me. Okay. No, you've got time. Right, so while that's drying a little bit, let's muck around with the front. This is what it looks like so far. The little washy bit of there. Oh, I've got washi coming out from underneath it. It's escaping. Well, that's not good, is it? That's not good at all. Alright, so we're going to put something maybe over that to stop that from happening. Yeah, definitely going to do something over that. Do that in a minute. Okay, so I've got this here, which is what that's going to look like, and then that's going to go like that there. And I think it's going to go so like that. That's the plan. Anyway, now I wonder whether I might put this over that little join just to stop those things escaping out. That little bit of washi. Even though I really like the edge of that paper. Alright, do I want anything else on? Yeah, I want to keep the cover pretty simple. I don't want to complicate things. Let's get this sticker down. Let's get this sticker down. So the benefits of having your own sticker shop is that when you need things like this, you can make them. Custom making my own sticker. That's kind of central-ish. That will do, and they're down. Whee! Okay. Gonna glue this. Maybe I don't know whether I need to fill my glue or if it's just cold today or what's the go. I don't know. I don't know why that's not playing ball. Alright, so I'm gonna glue this down the hole. It's It's very interesting watching me glue, I'm sure. Yeah. And a wiggle in the middle. This is just craft glue. I use it for, but it works. Which really is the main thing, right? Okay. I'm gonna do it there. Oh, it's so cute. Okay. My babies. So now I really got to stop. I hate the dried glue on my hands, but I can pick it off at another time. You really don't need to watch me picking dried glue off my hands. So if I take this tape all the way around, because of the way this page is stuck on it, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bend it in successfully unless I stick those two pages together and lose my poor little drawing. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I wonder if I can just glue it better. Because I did glue that, didn't I? I did. I wonder why it hasn't stuck. Maybe I'll just leave it and see how it goes. And if it irritates me, I can come back and add something later, because I can put a strip of this down. See what it looks like. Wow. Okay, there it is. This is how I come in the end. I don't really want it there if I don't have to. I mean, I don't hate it. But I kind of liked it without. It wasn't part of my original. I had it there just in case. But anyway, getting carried away. Let's stick the end papers down. See how it behaves the next time I've got it open and manipulate the cover. Alright, so that is the front. Fenris, Arcana and Calum are down. And the back is just plain. I don't see any real reason to go too crazy with the back because it's going to be pretty much in the cover anyway. I only really did that to keep it uniform. So on the inside, what I've got is this here is it's actually a section of wrapping paper that Piper made for me in Kinder for Mother's Day, I think, last year. So when she was in Kinder. And I kept it because it was really cool. And this is just a section I hacked off. Because obviously I have to measure it. How big I actually want it to be. I need a ruler. I've got one somewhere. Okay. So this is... Don't measure it that way, Samantha. You want to measure the inside because this is the actual piece size of the paper that you want. I want 8 inches by 5.5. 8 inches by 5.5. All right, I'm going to go cut that. Right, so 2 pieces now, which should fit nicely on there. And one on the other side. Yeah, I think I'll do that one on the front. So let's get that glued up and stuck down. And hopefully it sticks better than what the other everything else has been sticking today. Glue, glue, glue. I must admit, it's actually really nice to do something like this again. It's been a very long time. Although in the back of my mind I am conscious of other things, writing type things, but I really want to get as many people as possible the opportunity to read my work, and that means connecting with you all. So that involves me doing all this sort of fun stuff as well, which is going to be great. So Sorcery and Stardust will be available as an ebook as well as a hard copy. So you can have it digital or you can have it print. Print versions, you can either contact me directly through the website, or if you know me, you can contact me personally. Or they'll be available on the Etsy store, because I'm doing a run of Sorcery and Stardust stickers and postcards and art prints and stuff like that, which will be able to go with any purchases. So that will be happening. And it's available on Amazon as like Kindle. It's available on Kobo, Barnes and Noble, a bunch, which, like I said, I'll have a full list on my website, which I'll put all the links in the description box down below if you want to check it out. It would be fun. We can all live in my happy little imaginary world together. I also run a weekly blog on my website, which a lot of people keep telling me that blogs are going out of fashion, but it's a great way for me to share short stories and updates and things like that. I'm going to have a monthly newsletter as well, which will go sort of as an email, which I haven't set up yet. So if you go looking for it at the time of this video, it may or may not exist. But my main point of contact at this stage is the website and the blog. I have got a Facebook page and an Instagram and all that sort of stuff, which, as well as the YouTube channel. Everything's going to all interact together. We're all going to be one big happy creative family. But yeah, to find out most of the information, you'll want the website. And like I said, short stories and snippets and more information about the characters and all that sort of fun stuff will all be going up there. So let's see, how did that, oh, some glue escaped. That's actually not that bad. Cute. And that one. Alright, so this ribbon is probably not too long. I just want to trim it because it's a little bit ratty. Like that. And that's actually held up not too bad now. So I'll just see how that goes before I get too worried. I wouldn't mind getting craft knife. I'm just trying to poke that washi back under the leading edge. Like that. And hopefully it stays under. If it keeps coming out, I will assess that as we get closer. So now, in theory, this is done. I have got my cover, feels nice and sturdy. I have got my ribbon bookmark, which is honestly the only thing that I felt my Hobonichi liked. A lot of the Hobonichi covers come with a ribbon bookmark, and that's how you're supposed to do it, but if you don't use an official Hobonichi cover, then you don't have that. So I knew I wanted to add it. So let's see how it looks while we're here. So that is going to slip in there. That's going to slip in there. I think that looks all right. Now, in a perfect world, I'd have that centered, because yes, I am a little OCD like that. Now, I have got a pen, multi-pen. Is that what I want to call it? Like a 4-pen, only it's got 5, that I will probably use in here because I tend to color code my things. I actually have 2, and I need to sort them out because I want one on my normal planner and one on this. I'll be able to stick notices and stuff in here, and like I said, I've got sketch paper in there if I need to, and that is that. Let's clip him up and see. Yeah, see, I can hear it. It's clunked to the bottom. So I think if I open that, I'm going to find, yeah. So I might be better off aligning it at the bottom, even though that looks a little strange. This is the only downside when your cover's a little too big. Let's try that now. Because obviously if I tip it up the other way... Oh, I don't need to just clip it. That feels alright. Yeah, she's in. It's a little loose, but only time will tell as it gets fatter, or if I put other things, whether this cover will serve me or whether I end up putting it into something else. But for now, I quite like how that lays out. So that's it, guys. We're at the end. Thanks very much for watching. If you haven't liked or subscribed and you feel the urge to do so, please do that. If you'd like to check out more about Sorcery and Stardust, like I said earlier, the links are all down below. And I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully in the near future, for some more crafty goodness. Until then, wherever you are, have a good day, and I'll see you later.